Well, hey guys, this is DK Spencer. So, hey, it's FSC day. Why not? So, this is actually one that I built for my boy Tyler, and he's had a little bit of trouble with it. So, I wanted to kind of show what was going on with it. So, it has a cutoff eBay barrel. Now these are, a couple of builders, or at least one in particular, uses these as well. They're just about the best power you can get, honestly. But they do have one flaw to them, and I'll show you what that is. Now that's actually what I've got in this one. This is one of my favorite personal ones. But I don't know why I've got cheap yellow balls in there. That's weird. But anyway, and I think Tyler probably tried to take the barrel out with the screw still in too tight. Not that it hurts anything, but that's why it's scratched up there. This one, you can see where the screw goes in there, but as long as you don't actually try to move it like that, whatever. But always make sure if it's, if you have any resistance whatsoever, taking one out, loosen that screw right there just a little bit to prevent that. So anyway, so here's mine, and I've got rubber detents in it, and it works perfectly fine. Now, I put the actual nubbins, the first strike nubbins, in his. Now, why do I not have wicks and detents or something else in these? Well, I'll show you why. Here's a wicks and detent. I might can show you why. Well, let's do it this one. I probably should have picked something better to pull it out with. Okay, so, and I love wicks and detents, but if you put certain detents, that one actually looks like it's fitting pretty good, but let me show you something. And this is obvious. This is definitely not a knock on wicks and detents. I'll show you some others that do the exact same thing. Wicks and detents work perfectly in every manufactured barrel I've ever used, except for the eBay barrels. Now, let's take an HP68 and push it down. Okay, so it worked fine in that. And by the way, if you're shooting HP68s and something, you better check them, every one of them, because I have found that some are actually too big to even go down a barrel, while others will slide down it with no problem. And that is a good way to bust your O-rings. So anyway, so there we go. So what will happen, if you can see that, is the grooves on these are a little tight, and what can happen is when something passes by them, it will kind of push it in there, and it don't pop back out all the way. So it's supposed to sit out like that. Now, it's not near as pronounced on this as it could be. Let me show you something else. Here's one from Crimutech, or however you say that. Now, I tried it in his barrel. Watch, it'll fit in mine. No. So the Wixon fits even better than this one. This one you can't even really hardly get it to go through there. So there, I got it to go through. See how much it sticks out? Well, that would be great until you shoot it the first time. Now I can really show you. Shoot it the first time, and guess what? No more detent. So what was happening was, and it's usually not a problem with the nubbins, the actual first strike nubbins, which are those. Usually not a problem, but as you can see, with this one, you basically have no detent now. And if both of them are that way, you know, like I say, these are black rubber ones. Not sure where they came from, but they pop back out pretty good. The white ones pop back out. The actual nubbins pop back out pretty good on mine. Not a problem. On his, it was just a smidge smaller. But if you have, you know, something in both sides like that, passes down, both of them stick, then you have no detents anymore. So what was happening was his ammo was, you know, just continuing to go out. So what I did to remedy that in his is I got some of these little files from Harbor Freight, because Harbor Freight's, you know, the bomb. Especially for less lethal. You don't need super duper high quality tools. Go with Harbor Freight for this stuff. Got good tools for cars. Cheap stuff for this. So anyway, they sell like a pack of these. They're very inexpensive. Took the flat one, where it's flat on both sides, and you can see what I did there. So I just put it through, putting downward pressure like this. All right. Then turn it over like this. You get the idea. Turn it like this. All right. See what I'm saying? So you're hitting it from 4 different angles and making sure, you know, that gets it, you know, more uniformed. So I just kept doing that until I got the detent holes big enough to where even like the Crimutech ones, which are too big to even fit in mine, that worked better than this one. So these will even work in his now. So that was actually what was going on with his. And I shot it, you know, I tested it and everything before I sent it, but I guess they just didn't hang up on me. But now, wow, his barrel's actually, oh, never mind. That was just the detent. I was going to say his barrel's smaller than mine. It shouldn't be. They're the same barrel. But anyway, see, it pops back out. So in good shape. So now that I've showed you that, let me show you something else. I want to show you why people have kind of bad luck sometimes with different kinds of shaped ammo. So here is an HP 68. So the ammo goes in like that, right? Okay. Now, as you can see, the detents keep it from going all the way in. Now your mag spring should push it to where it goes, and it should be fine. But if you know, are on your last round or two, or you have a really weak spring, or your detents are actually stiffer than these or whatever, you can see that it's actually hitting those before it goes in. So, and just so you don't think I'm partial just to BK Kinetics, when you have a pointy round like that, it actually falls, you know, the detents are on either side of the point. So even without a spring, even without the spring tension having to push it, you know, they're going to, the balance of those is a little weird. Let's get a BK Kinetic. Well, they do the same thing, whatever. But you see my point. They actually fall behind the detents because of the point. Boom. So whenever you're trying to shoot shape projectiles, and I know I've said this a million times, I'm like a broken record, but the formula to it is you want a Wixon follower. So this is a Wixon follower. It's flat. It is important to remember there's an arrow on the back. That needs to point toward the front of the magazine. And you'll see whenever you go to put one in, this is a FSC follower, factory follower. So you will notice that it's not, these aren't straight across. They're closer to this end. So it's thicker here, thinner there. So get a look at it and actually see, you know, how it looks. And notice that this side of the detent is actually shaved off. So when you replace it with a Wixon detent, see how this side is shaved off? So you need to make sure to put it in that same orientation, okay? So just pay attention to that. So you should have that little notch off the side when you put it in on the same side that this one was. So very important to remember that. But anyway, your Wixon follower, which is flat instead of rounded, which aids in the ammo staying a little flatter in the mag and not having the tendency to roll. Then you want to use a red spring. So for anybody that doesn't know what I'm talking about, when you get an FSC, now if you buy one off somebody that's been modified, you know, make sure they give you these, because when you buy a brand new FSC, you're going to get 2 magazines, and there's going to be, usually they're going to have the silver springs in the magazines, and then you're going to have red springs in these little things here. The red springs are only red on one end, so don't be looking for a spring that's completely red. Just look for one end of it to be painted red. So this is a stiffer spring, and what that does is keep the rounds pressed to each other more solidly, so there's less chance of one flipping. So because if it's really loose in there and they can kind of move around, then they can, you know, if they spring apart and one of them flips, then you're going to get a jam, period. So very important for that. Very important to use the red spring, the Wixon follower, and my lights are going crazy. It just turned blue for some reason. That's weird. But anyway, and then another thing is when you actually put the magazine in, you want to like that, not like that. Because if you do that, I guarantee you something's going to flip in there. So, red springs, Wixon follower, put your mag in gently, and another thing, like we were talking about, your detents come into play. Depending on what kind of ammo, BK Kinetics typically do not have a problem with any detents, but some of your shape stuff, like your HP 68s, are going to potentially have a problem with the detents. Now, something I've done before, when I'm gearing something up just for shaped ammo and I'm using something other than BK Kinetics or whatever, I have actually taken like a stiff detent and like shaved a little off of it. Now this is a Wixon. Now you can tell on the Wixon, this version anyway, because I think he's done a couple. I know he's done a couple different versions, but you can see. Well, let's put in the same orientation here. You can see that the Wixon is already a smidge, just a smidge shorter. No focus. But anyway, you get it. You see what I'm saying. So it's already just a smidge shorter than that one. So that's actually good for using shape stuff. So anyway, you may have to, if you're using something that sticks out long and you're, you know, having that problem where it's not going in right into the chamber, take a pair of fingernail clippers and clip just a little smidge. I'm talking a tiny little smidge off of it, and sometimes that will help with that too. So anyway, I'm not gonna go into putting all this back together in this video since I didn't take it all apart. I've got other videos where I've showed all that kind of stuff. This is just a discussion video, and that's how it will be playlisted. Alright guys, so this is DK Spencer. Oh, by the way, my boy put him a O-ring in here because the O-ring blew in the midst of all the ammo issues. So he put the white one in here. That's the one that comes with them. Obviously, if you replace one with that and it's still turned up to def, that's going to blow instantly. So that's what happened with him. And that's expected because that's why we replace them with the Milsig style O-rings. I do use the Grimberg brand. But anyway, I'll get to that in a minute. But yeah, don't expect one after you've got it turned all the way up and a chamber cap and everything on it to do anything other than just blow instantly when you use the factory replacement one. So there's that, and yeah, thanks for watching. So this is DK Spencer, and like and subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next one. We're going to do some HDBs and HDXs this weekend. Woo-hoo.